Hey yo! Alright, I'm here with all the dogs. Woo! Say hi, Moana. Hi, Moana. Say hi. So the topic of day 21 for me is all about how do you kick off your day so that you're kind of winning at life. And I'm going to totally put my hand up that I don't always get this right. I don't know anybody actually who gets this right. Probably the closest person to having an amazing ritual from the start of the day to the finish would be Amy Landino. Maybe Hal Elrod, given that he has talked about the miracle morning. And there's probably a bunch of people, right? Maybe Brendan Bouchard. I don't know. You think about those high performance type of people. But I don't know many people who definitively stick with a ritual that really serves them all the time, because we're human. Might be a little breezy out here, but hopefully you can hear me. And for the last 2 months, I have been doing yoga every single morning without fail, or at least yoga every single day. I prefer it in the morning. Sometimes I do it in the night before bed. But man, that makes me feel like $1 million. I talked about that in a previous video, so I'll link to that. But what I've been doing more recently, pretty consistently now for about 3 weeks, so we're just on the verge of it forming a habit, is getting up and going to our new place where we do yoga and meditation. So I typically do yoga with Adrienne. I follow that by a meditation. Typically I do a guided one, but recently I've just been sitting with my breath. And the other day I closed my eyes and breathed for a second, and I already had a thought in there, and it was my to-do list. And I was like, really, a whole second and you can't clear your head? So a lot of work to do there, but it is starting to become a little bit easier each day to just be mindful and sit in breath and contemplation and just being present. 5-10 minutes, I'm working up to more, but it does actually make you feel really amazing. And when you open your eyes and I look out to the trees, it's like everything's kind of in technicolor and everything just looks more beautiful and clean and crisp and clear and alive. So that's pretty amazing. And then I journal. I grab my journal, and unlike people who do morning pages, which I understand is great, and I would like to add that into my routine, where you just basically riff for 5 pages. Whatever comes out is what comes out. It allows you to have more creativity. It gets your brain into flow. I tend to just kind of like riff on what's top of mind for me. Sometimes I'll talk about the day before and what happened and what went well, and I'll reflect. And sometimes I'll talk about my gratitudes of what's coming up and what I'm excited about. And then if I'm really good, I will set my life pilot 3 things for the day, unless I set them the night before. So what are the 3 most important actions that I want to work on today across my 8 areas of life? There's usually a business one in there. There's typically a relationship one, whether it's to do with friends or family or Josh. There's often a lifestyle one in there. Is there something I want to do around the property, or is there some outing or activity or a massage or whatever it is? There's quite often an impact one in there. Am I writing towards my book, etc.? But I do those 3, and then those are the first 3 things that I bite off for the day. And what's been working really well for me over these past 3 weeks is getting up and eating the frog, so to speak. So I have been doing my group coaching calls with my Launch Your Damn Course folks, or I've been doing podcast interviews. Either I'm interviewing or I'm being interviewed. Really enjoying the amazing interviews I'm doing recently. And all those things require good energy and for you to be awake and onto it and in flow. And I find first thing in the morning is the best possible time. And then when they're finished, I'm usually really jazzed and usually super inspired and motivated. And then I can actually tackle the next thing on my list from a business point of view, the next big thing that I'd like to work on. And I've been doing a workout pretty much daily, sometime between 12 and 2 p.m. So there's a group of friends who go to a CrossFit gym just down the road. We walk across a paddock. At 1 p.m. they're doing their workout, and it's been really good for us to stick with that and attempt to turn up at the same time. But either way, I will fit in a workout unless I've done a particularly demanding yoga session that day, and I take into account what I'm training for. So I'm also getting out on the bike right now. But I really like that kind of middle of the day. It does feel like a bit of a, I have to break up the good work that I've been doing, but I typically know that by around 2 p.m, if I haven't taken a proper break and got out into nature and thrown the disc with the dogs, or been into town, or met up with friends, or gone out to lunch, I start to just kind of need that break and that energy, and exercise gives it back to me in droves. So a lot of people underestimate when they're tired. They think they're physically tired, but usually they're mentally tired, and exercise gets that blood flowing again. It gets the oxygen back in your system, and it gives you like a second wind. So it's a perfect time for you then to carry on with your afternoon session of whatever it is. And if you're in business for yourself, it's usually some really good outreach work. It might be catching up on email systems, planning, whatever it may be, teamwork, etc. But don't discount when you're mentally tired because you've had a pretty big day, that some exercise is going to help you out no end to kind of recharge you and revitalize you. And an alternative on the days when you just don't feel like it is a solid 20-minute power nap. Don't underestimate the power of the power nap. Even just sometimes shutting your eyes for 20 minutes, phone away, everything away, and just resting your eyes and having a little bit of downtime, again, super energizing, so you can carry on the rest of the day. So that's kind of how I plan out my day, and then I've typically been stopping any type of work around 3 or 4, and I've been doing a lot of my learning then. I kind of just chill on the couch, or I just find a really beautiful spot that's nice and peaceful. I put my headphones on, I get into learning, taking notes, and learning gives me energy as well. So it's a good time of the day when all the good stuff's been done that I do that. But sometimes I'll do learning first thing in the morning because I'm just amped about it and I've put aside that time. So whatever is in your calendar, I would love you to commit to. How have you broken out your day and into chunks that work for you and your energy levels? And then of course your evening should be spent hopefully relaxing with fabulous friends, having great conversation, doing things that you love, going out for dinner, date nights, theatre, movies, whatever it may be, dancing, maybe you're involved in a sport, and that's kind of when you catch up and you do your community work and volunteer work, whatever it may be. And that's just my version of it, like an ideal, perfect day when I'm in work mode. And tomorrow I will probably talk to you about how I just love adding in like little mini holidays into my day and week, so that I'm much more focused and disciplined when I'm working, and when I'm not, I'm totally taking time off and enjoying. I'd love to know what your ideal work setup day is, where you feel most productive. You may flip that completely. If you're not a morning person, that might be your time for whatever it may be that you love to do, reading, learning, catching up with friends, socializing, and maybe you do your best work in the afternoon and the evening. But I would really, really love to know what your ideal, most productive way to spend your day and the ritual that you have for yourself that starts your morning off great. Because, oh yeah, that's the whole message of this video, is how you start your day is how everything turns out. And by that I mean, if you start your day off on your phone first thing, at the demand of other people's attention and their information and their ideas filling your head and whatever's going on in their world and coming into yours, or you're distracted, or there's emails, or there's emergencies, that's how your day is going to go. You're going to be at the whim of everybody else. You are not going to be the master of your own ship, the designer of your own day, versus you not doing any of that first thing in the morning and doing the most important thing for you that starts you off right. It might be mantras, it might be gratitudes, it might be listening to your favorite music, it might be getting down for a boogie, it might be reading a beautiful book, it might be time with your kids or your friends or your dogs or your cats or whatever other awesome animal you have, like a llama or a giraffe. But it is definitely not the time for any sense of, I believe, online connection. It'll destroy your day. It'll put you on the back foot from the beginning. So make sure you win the day by taking charge of it from the moment you wake up. This includes your thoughts and your actions. That's your pep talk from Natalie today.